Hello and welcome to Hexed Encountered. My name is Joe. Today I'm going to be doing the second video in what's going to be an ongoing series using Legends of Boxing for Windows. This is a PC game, of course, based on a board game that is published by Stone Mountain Press, created by Gary Brown. This PC version was basically developed by Richard Hanna. So in my previous video, which was the first video, and I kind of did an overview and an introduction to what I'm going to do. This game gives you the ability to essentially manage a stable of fighters, and they can be either real guys or fictional guys, and basically you progress them through their career. So I have it here under Legend Sport. So if I click on this, we have our two fighters. So we have Mickey Kid Lightning O'Malley. He's a heavyweight. He's from Boston. He's 18 years old. So he has not yet had a fight. Okay, my other guy, Jack Cunningham, he is a middleweight from Philadelphia. He has had one fight. He fought DeMarcus Lopez, who is much older than him. Cunningham's 19, Lopez is 34. He won in a split decision. It was a 4-round fight because this is early career. Based on where you are in your career, the length of the fights will be different. That's really because it's more regional. So you kind of build up as you would expect in a boxing career where you're starting as a young fighter and you're kind of developing your career and moving forward and so on and so forth. So we are going to have our fight with Mickey O'Malley, and what he's going to do is he has a choice. So they always give you a choice of two potential opponents. Okay, we can fight Richard Ponce, who's a heavyweight, 31 years old. Has a decent record, not a tomato can or anything like that. So you have you can look at his stats and see how he compares to O'Malley, who's he's a young kid, obviously 18 years old, and he has his ratings here. Ponce has his ratings. At the bottom, you can see rep points, and over here, regional rep points require 20 to move up. Okay. So he has currently his rep is 0 because he has not yet had a fight. Cunningham, on the other hand, if we go back down to him, he has a rep of 2 now because he beat Lopez and he got 2 rep points from that. The potential range for fights with Lopez was a max of 3+ or -2. So if you lose, your rep will take a hit. Makes sense, obviously. But that is what, and we have this little exclamation point here, which kind of indicates that he has a fight on the docket, basically, and we just need to pick our opponent. I was looking at this a little earlier, and I believe I'm going to go with Arnold Mercado. He's also, obviously, these are all heavyweights. He's 37, so that's, he's twice the age plus of my guy O'Malley here. And in the first video we rolled up there, you basically, when you create a fictional fighter, you get to roll it. I do have the board game, and I also bought the career mode for the board game, and in there you get all kinds of charts and things where you basically roll some dice, and it's almost like a role-playing game type thing where you're generating the statistics for your fighter, essentially his attributes, his ratings, right? So the PC game works exactly the same way, except it does all the rolling for you, and then you also have the ability to it gives you 10 bonus points where you can add a +1 or a +2 to your die roll to actually bump a stat or 2 up if you wish to do so. So we're going to pick Arnold Mercado. Right now I have to confirm it. Once I do, we will go to the training section and so on and so forth, and you'll see that in a moment. You do see here that it says you're able to decline 1 fight per year. If you do, the fighter will be rusty for his next fight. So we don't really want that. We want our fighters to be at peak condition because we're trying to build a reputation to advance up to the national level and then ultimately to the international level and the world level where you would have a chance to become the heavyweight champion. So we're going to hit confirm selection. Now we have training camp. Okay, so here's our little die roller. So when I click on this, it's going to roll the dice, and it's a D100 essentially. So we're going to get one of these events, and these are training events that have the potential to do either help or hurt your fighter's attributes. And you can see what the chart has on it. And again, this is direct from the board game. Richard Hanna is kind of a master at this kind of thing of taking board board games in the sports realm and kind of translating them into a PC game. He's done a bunch of these, and I could run down the list, but it's a long list. So suffice it to say that he's pretty well known amongst the sports gaming community, I guess, that, to do, if you have a board game that's a sports game and you want somebody to, make a PC version of it, he's a good choice. So we're going to roll, and we get a 36, and it highlights what you get, right? So we reduce endurance by 3 points. He had a poor camp. So his endurance is 19. For this fight, it's going to be 16. Probably not a big deal because this is going to be a short fight. If we were further along in our career, this could be an issue because if you're going 10 or 12, 15 rounds, you're going to need your endurance. So we're taking an endurance hit. Now we go to the fight. So you have fight or auto fight. I did an auto fight in the first video for Cunningham. I'm going to fight this one out so that you can actually see the entire fight. So we're going to go to the fight. I actually added an image for O'Malley. There is a folder in here, and let me drag this in. So here's our folder. I was messing around in here. It is in C Drive, Legends of Boxing. So in here you have a pictures folder, and then under fighters you have all these fighters. So I have a bunch of heavyweight guys in here, but if we scroll down, here's Jack Cunningham. And Mickey O'Malley is a little further down. Obviously, he's in the M's, and he's right here. So you just have to name your file in this format. Make sure it's a JPEG. It likes it 200 by 200, and you get your guy in the game, like so. Now, I could have done one for Mercado, too, but these, I get the impression that these are kind of generated on the fly. I also changed the name file. So, because, it's basically modern names, and I set my, fantasy universe, I guess, in 1946. Kind of the golden age of sports in the 40s and 50s, the era of LaMotta and Marciano and Joe Louis and all these, guys that people know about. And so I wanted to kind of have that kind of atmosphere. So we're setting it back in the 40s, but the game is giving me names of, modern Americans. And obviously, names have changed over time. There are names that people have today that were not common or were basically non-existent, almost, 80 years ago now. So we're going to basically go in and start this out. So if we hit seconds out, we're going to start the fight, right? So we hit seconds out. Your first thing you're going to do is roll for control. So 10-7, that's a split. Okay, you have to win control, if I remember correctly. You have to win control by a certain amount to actually take control. Otherwise, you get this split, and then you roll on the split chart, and you get a 57. And we can see that's going to be juke and move, which it says right here. But you can see on the chart, juke and move, both fighters jockey for position. So no punches thrown. We're just kind of, moving around. 11 seconds have come off the clock. We go to the next action. We roll again. Now, he won control by a good amount, because he had 20 and I rolled a 5. So he has control. Now we roll for our defense. So now he's going to roll for his punch. Okay, cross 1 point. So he has, and it scores it up here, cross for 1 point. So this is how the game goes. If you have played the board game, this is all really familiar. If you played the PC game, obviously, it's even more familiar. But for those of you who have not played this game or seen it, this is the way it progresses. And I do have a video on the board game as well. I did it a while ago, probably 7-8 months ago now. But it's on my channel if you do want to check out the board game. This plays exactly the same way. They have basically like a strategy, essentially, or a stance. I forget what it's called exactly. But you can see he's fighting elusive and he's fighting inside. And that will determine kind of what happens with when you roll, what you get. You might get a 1 point cross or a hook, scoring punches, all kinds of stuff. So we're going to move on. Again, you always start with rolling for control. We get a split again because it's not wide, the margin's not wide enough. This time we got a 12, which is a foul check on the blue fighter, which is my opponent. I'm in the red corner, he's in the blue corner. He is a dirty fighter, so his foul rating is probably going to lead to possibly being a foul, and that's what we got. So we get a flagrant foul, which is going to obviously dock him. some points. We go to the next action. We roll for control again. He gets control. Now I roll my defense. He rolls his punch. He gets another hook to the body for another point. We go on. Control again. Another split. 100. And that is an even flurry, 2 points each. I also picked up a TKO point. So you can see here, you always get a little notation of what happened. Foul 2, cross 1, etc. Even, exchange for 2. Go on to the next, roll for control. I have control. So now he rolls for defense. I roll for the punch. I get a 1 point jab, and so we move on. Only 47 seconds left. He's got control. Roll for defense, punch, combination, scored but countered for 1 point. I roll for my counter punch, and I got a hook for a point, so that basically we each get a point there, right? Move on, control again. I have control. His defense, 4, 74. I got a 1 point cross. Move on. He's got control. Defense, punch, uppercut for 2. So it looks like he's going to win this round, but there is judging, and the judges aren't always going to score it exactly as the points would dictate. They have their own personality, so to speak. It's a chart, just like most everything else is. Now we go to the next round. I lost 3 endurance points. He lost 3 endurance points. So I'm down to 13. He's down to 8. Now remember, I have an endurance of 19, but it was knocked down to 16 because of a poor training camp. So loss of 3, I'm left with 13. Once your endurance goes sub-zero, you start taking penalties to some of your statistics. So let's do round 2. This is a 4-round fight, as I mentioned. I have control. He rolls 6 on defense, 59. I get a 1 point hit. Hook, right? Now he has control. I roll for defense, punch. He's got a combo for a point. And that's control again. So his control number is better than mine, apparently, because he keeps winning control. He's got a 9. I have an 8. I'm at a -2, and he's at a -1. So he scores a cross, and now because of that, I have to check for a cut. My cut number is 11, so I was over the cut number, so I don't have a cut. Roll again. Okay, 1. So I that basically is good. Loss. And we roll again. I have control. His defense, my punch, 1 point. So it looks like he's got 3. I have 2 right now, if we're keeping score here. And he gets a 2-point uppercut. Okay, split chart, 33. Clinch. Referee separates the fighters. I have control. I roll a 6. Punch. Combination. Next action, we're down to 18 seconds, so we're getting close to the end. And he's hit me with another TKO point. Next round, I lose 5 endurance. He loses 3. So we're getting a little shaky. 2 more rounds, I've lost half my endurance. We move on to round 3. Split, 40. Clinch again, so nothing. See, he's been in control most of the fight, and that's been a problem for me, because if you're not in control, you don't score, basically. Jab blocked. Good. And a hook. See, he's already at 3 points, and I have none. At least I got control that time. And I get a 2-point combination. Hook ducked, so that's good. Another split. Clash of heads, check cuts for both fighters. So I beat my number. He did not beat his number, so now I have to figure out what kind of cut he's got. He's got minor swelling left eye. So that helps me a little bit. And you can see over here you get a cut situation and the eye and other and so on. So you can the game keeps track of all this stuff, of course. Go to the next action. Control, I'm in control. We roll, we get a 6. 58, we get another 1-point cross. So on my scorecard, we're even right now. And that's the end of the round. So I lose 2 endurance. He loses 3. We go to the final round. Neither one of us have hit a tired situation. This is the last round. To me, I feel like I'm losing, but let's see what happens here. So he's in control again. He's going to probably score. He does. Now I'm in control. I get a straight punch for 1 point. Another split action. 70, so we get an even exchange, 1 point each. He gets a 2-point cross. He gets another 2-point cross and another TKO point. I feel like I'm going to lose here, guys. Now I'm in control. We landed something big, so that's good. We got a 2-point combination. But again, he gains control. Hook, duck, and counter. This is good. We can score here. We got a combo to the head for 2. That's good because that gave him a TKO point and it gave us 2 points. So we're ahead now in this round. Or we're tied, maybe. I guess we're tied. Next action, we've got 35 seconds left in the fight. He's in control. Gets a 1-point uppercut. I need one more control. Clash of heads. We check for cut again. I pass. This one's going to the judges. The fight is over. What do we got? Judge 1 scores it for me. Judge 2 scores it for me. Judge 3 scores it for Mikado. We're going to win by split decision. And we can get a fight report, which shows basically what happened. By round, all 4 rounds for O'Malley on this side and Mercado on this side. Then we get our judges scoring, so we can see, this Judge 1 had us even in round 1. He gave round 2 to O'Malley. He gave round 3 to Mercado. And he gave round 4 to O'Malley, 39-38. Judge 2 had O'Malley winning 1, 2, and 3 and losing round 4. So he had it 39-37, O'Malley. And Judge 3, he was more in favor of Mercado. He gave O'Malley round 1 and Mercado the next 3 rounds, and Mercado 39-37. Now, if you look at the total points for scoring, he scored 23, O'Malley scored 17. So if you look at that and you think about that, then maybe you say, well, that's, Mercado won. But Mercado also had 2 foul points, which probably played a part in the scoring. And he did take a cut, which also may have impacted the scoring as well. So that is the fight, and it is a win. That's going to help Mr. O'Malley's rating here, and we're going to close the fight. Okay, now we have, after the fight, we can get some development. Because we're a young guy. Once you're, until you hit prime, once you hit your prime of your career, you don't get any development. Then as you get older and you get into kind of post-prime, you'll be checking for negative development. So for now, we're looking for, bonuses, positives. 17, increased chin or power by 1 step. All right. So that is that. You can see here's our opponent. You can click on the fights once they're done at the top to see what happened. We can swap over to Cunningham. We can look at his score from his fight. He basically won kind of the same way. Judges 1 and 2 gave him the win. Judge 3 did not. He was also 22-17 instead of 23-17. 2 very similar results between the 2 fights for both of my guys, my middleweight guy and my heavyweight guy. You can also sometimes, I guess, add a new fighter, but apparently not. We need to end the month, and we'll move on to February. Now I can add another new fighter. So if we wanted to add another new fighter, and if you wanted to see the mechanism by which you add a new fighter to the database here, let's do it. We'll add another new fighter. Oh, it's not letting me. All right, so maybe we can't do it right now. That's fine. I wanted to keep this small because you can have up to 5, I think. So, you might spread it across various weight classes. That would be how I would do it, at least, but it's up to you. So now we're in February. Once at this age and stage of your career, you're fighting 8 times a year. So we had a fight in January. We'll fight again in February. No fight in March. Then April, May. No fight in June. July, August. No fight in September, and so on. And here it is. You know why? Because I added a bunch of names to the... I changed the name file. Remember I said that? So these are from my name file that I created. So if I wanted to add, say, a lightweight, I could add Kurt Huseman, who's already been rolled up. I don't love him, I guess. I have a welterweight I could add. I have a junior lightweight, a bantamweight, and a flyweight. I could also create a fighter. So we'll do that where you roll it up. And again, this is going to take a moment. And so it gives us a name of Rennie Drennan, and you can change this, right? So let's, you know what? We're going to keep it. We'll keep it. Rennie Drennan. We'll make him we have a heavyweight and a middleweight. So we can't take another middleweight. So we could take a welterweight. We could take a lightweight. Let's go with a lightweight, okay? Actually, let's go welterweight. We can make him physical or tactical. Let's have him be physical. My other two guys are both tactical. So we'll go physical with this guy. And I don't know what... I guess we don't need a nickname. So same things here with this. We'll keep all that. He can be from Indianapolis. That doesn't really care. So you get a 10 die boost, right? So you can start rolling now, and you can see all he's got right now is a P for physical type. We begin rating. Now, control, physical, and tactical. We can apply a die boost. So let's give him a 1 die boost. Actually, I didn't give him a 1 die boost. All right, because you have to type it, I believe. So anyway, he got a 10. That's not terrible. So how do we? Oh, you right click. I forgot. I just did this the other day and I forgot. We'll give him a 1 for defense. Roll a 13. For power, I'm going to give him. Let's give him 3 for power. This guy's going to be a hitter. All right, so his power is a 4. Not bad. Durability, we'll give him a 1. We have 5 left. Chin, I'm going to give him another 1. That was a bad roll. Wow. For cut, let's make it a 2 since we took a bad one there, and then we'll give him a 2 for willpower. And finisher, no bonus. So, it's decent. He's got the ability to fight 3 different ways, all but elusive. His A punch is a straight, so that's going to be his best punch. B punch is a hook. So you get a chart here for his control numbers and his ratings and so on and so forth. It shows you what he rolled, basically. So I'm going to save. Now we have Rennie Drennan. Everybody's going to have to fight this month. I'm going to save that for video number 3, where I'll probably just try to do all 3 fights. I might not play them all out. I might do some auto rounds and maybe play a round or 2 from each fight just to kind of keep things moving along. I don't want these videos to be super long. So that is going to do it for me for now. I appreciate you guys watching. Please consider liking, sharing, subscribing if you would. That would be awesome. Help my channel grow. But until next time, as always, I'm going to say this. My name is Joe. This has been Hexed Encountered. And until next time, happy gaming.